we have not seen cannabis get weaker and weaker over the history in this country. If you look back to the 1970s, the 1980s, I was born in 1970, so I'm 50 some years old. Anyway, when I was in high school, we were talking 1, 2, and 3% THC in cannabis, and THC is as most of you know, that's the active ingredient that causes the majority of the mind-altering behaviors that people want to experience when they use cannabis. In the 70s and 80s, we were talking 1 and 2%, maybe 3 or 4%. Today, it's in upwards of 20 to 30%. If if you read High Times Magazine, or if you look at Weed Maps, or some of the other pro cannabis sources that are out there, they're promoting cannabis that's as high as 34 and 35%, and that's just the flower, right? The weed itself, the pre-rolls, the stuff that they roll into joints or stuff into pipes. This doesn't include the oils, the tinctures, the waxes, the shatters, the glass, all that stuff. This is just the flower. It can be as high as 30 to 35%. Now, 35% is the absolute top primo best stuff that's out there. The average that you can get at the cannabis retailers in Michigan is going to be around the kind of 15, 20, 22%, right in that ballpark. But again, compared to where we were at 3% when I was in high school, it's no wonder that people my age are saying cannabis is no big deal. We smoked bales of it when we were in high school, and most of us are just fine, right? We have jobs, we're paying our mortgages, we're in stable relationships, we're parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles and business owners, and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, we were smoking dandelions. I mean, it was very, very, very weak cannabis back then. If I personally were to try to smoke something today that's 20% THC, if I just smoked a joint, number one, I'd be coughing my lungs out because I haven't smoked anything in, oh my gosh, 35, 40 years, probably 35 years. But the THC level would knock me on my keister. I would not be functioning with that much THC in my system today. And we have young people that that's their starter weed. That's their base level. That's the first experiences they smoke a joint, and it's at that level. And then they have experiences with even stronger stuff. So when we talk potency, we're not talking apples and oranges here. We're talking apples and watermelons. I mean, it's such a completely different world. For a lot of people, one comparison that I've made that makes sense for some people is if you think about drinking a can of Bud Light in 1985, okay, just Bud Light beer. You drink a can, you might get a buzz, you might not, but you understand probably how much alcohol is in that can of Bud Light. Now take that today and make it straight Jack Daniels or straight vodka, 12-ounce can. You crack the top and you drink down the straight whatever, Jack Daniels, vodka, whatever you want to talk about. How would that impact you versus that Bud Light from 40 years ago? And that's really what we're talking about when it comes to concentrations. Is the weed today is just so much stronger. So that's the flower, the pre-rolls. Vape oils in the 1970s and 80s, we didn't have vape pens, right? We didn't know what they were. We didn't have dabbing rigs. We didn't have, a lot of the stuff that young people are using today for some of the stronger stuff. Today, some of the distillate oil and the resins are anywhere from 65 to 95% THC. 95% THC. I was talking to Suzanne briefly before everybody jumped on, and there are in other states, I've not heard of it here in Michigan, but in some other states on the coasts, they have a crystalline THC, which is about 99.9% pure THC. It looks like little sugar crystals or salt crystals, little teeny tiny amounts, but it's 99.9% pure THC. So yeah, compared to the 2 and 3% stuff, again, that was available in the 70s and 80s and early 90s, today's weed is not even in the same ballpark. 1980s.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let's say I want to go out and smoke a joint, and I don't intend to, but I did in college. So what would I do? Take one hit off a joint and I'd be as high as I was in college, taking, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 hits. And I can't remember how I did it even, but
yeah.
What are people doing? I mean, there's a potency thing, but then there's also the self-regulation thing. If somebody does a vape pen and takes one hit, they're going to be high. But what, I mean, I guess, what are you seeing in the field or what are you hearing?
Right. If you, sorry, my video is freezing up here on me, so I'm going to turn it off for a minute. That's a great question. And that's what I've wondered too. So what happens if, I can remember again, back in college, there might be a room with, 6 or 8 people in it. And in one session, they would sit around and smoke 2 or 3 joints and everyone would be pretty high. So let's kind of multiply the THC by 10. Can 6 people sit around and smoke, 2, 3, 4 joints in one setting, in one session, and even function? And I think the answer is yes and no. A lot of it depends on who it is. It's just like kind of any other thing that's out there. If you've been smoking for a while, then your body is a little more used to that much THC. Now it's going to have a more profound impact on your level of impairment and some of these other negative consequences we're going to talk about. So yeah, you're going to be more messed up, but again, that's your baseline. So that's what you understand messed up as being. And you're going to be maybe more outwardly, you're going to look like you're functioning, but again, your impairment level is still so high. There's no way you should be driving. There's no way you should be thinking. You shouldn't be using a ballpoint pen. I mean, it just like you really should not be doing anything that requires any problem solving, any processing, any thinking. With the vape pens, what we're seeing a lot of is people will take one hit, and then half an hour later they'll take one hit, and then a half an hour later they'll take one hit. So it's not getting a ton of it on board all at once. It's more like getting that buzz on, but it lasting all day now, because I can just take a hit of my vape pen and then not hit it again for another half hour, 45 minutes. So the minute that my body says, oh, I'm starting to come down, oh, well, then I'm automatically going to go back for the vape pen. Even if it's not a conscious decision, as soon as your body says, hey, the THC level's going down, your body's going to respond, your brain's going to respond. So does that kind of help answer the question a little bit? Yeah, so this is 1980s cannabis. Again, it's good looking, it's functional. It'll get people the buzz that they're looking for. It doesn't look real dangerous. 2000s cannabis started getting a little beefier, a little stronger, a little more intimidating. And then today's cannabis, I always say it'll rip your arm off and beat you over the head with it. It's absolutely dangerous stuff. It's not, the high will still be there, but because there's so much THC in it, the negative impacts are just astounding.